Many thanks for joining us. This is the news on Galaxy Television, broadcasting to viewers here in Nigeria, West Africa, and across the globe. My name is Tife Tanimomo. Our top stories. The National Industrial Court sitting in Abuja issues an interlocutory injunction in favor of government ordering all striking resident doctors in the country to suspend their strike actions and return to work with immediate effect. Plus, on the news, the Oyo State High Court grants all relief sought by the Yoruba activist Sunday Igboho, asking the federal government to pay him 500 billion naira. And when we'll take you outside Nigeria, the United States announces new sanctions regime related to the continuing conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region, threatening to punish those who prolong humanitarian crisis. Those are top stories. We'll bring you details shortly. A very warm welcome to you once again. Many thanks for joining us. On the news, we begin from the presidency as President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the inclusion of Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu as the representative of the House of Representatives on the Health Sector Reform Committee. A statement from the Senior Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, explains that the Honorable had previously served as a past Secretary General of the Nigerian Medical Association and Associate Member of the World Medical Association. The Health Sector Reform Committee, under the chairmanship of Vice President Yemi Oshimajo, has members drawn from private and public sector, health, care development management professionals, development partners, representatives from the National Assembly, as well as the Nigerian Governors Forum, among others. The committee, which is set up for a period of 6 months, will undertake a review of all healthcare reforms adopted in the past 2 decades and lessons learned and factor them into the development of the new health sector reform program. And now let's shift our focus to court matters, as the National Industrial Sitting Court in Abuja has issued an interlocutory injunction in favor of government ordering all striking resident doctors in the country to suspend the strike actions and return to work immediately. Justice Bashir Akali Friday gave the order while ruling on a motion by the government seeking an end to the industrial action, which has been on since 2nd August 2021, as doctors demand better working conditions in the face of global pandemic. Galaxy's Godfrey Shimoge now completes the story.
The matter was adjourned on Wednesday, 15th September, for both parties to return to the negotiating table. But negotiations failed, thus leaving the inevitable, that is, ruling on a substantive motion. In his ruling, Justice Bashir Alkali Friday said the human losses as the effect of the doctor's absence from hospitals nationwide is staggering due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hence, it is only logical doctors returned to work, and so ordered they did so immediately. Justice Alkali said he had expected parties to have ceased hostilities much earlier, in line with Section 18, Subsection 2 of the Trade Dispute Act. He urged government and resident doctors to return to the negotiation table to address the long-standing dispute between them. Counsels of both parties reacted to the court ruling.
The court, in its ruling, agreed with us on the issues canvassed and specifically made an order restraining defendants from continuing with the strike and also compelling them to go back to work. For me, and also the court also further asked parties to also continue to negotiate while they are at work. So for me, it's not a win-loss situation. It's rather a win-win situation, both for the parties and both for the country.
No lawyer would say disobey court order, but the law also provides for appeal against the order, which our client would consider. And within that context, the legal battle would continue.
Attempts for out-of-court settlement had failed as both parties alleged each changed the terms of settlement at a crucial stage.
We told you that they had agreed to sign that MOU. So we basically adjourned to sign that MOU, only for the defendants to come up with entirely different agreements, which introduced new issues in the MOU, which they had agreed to just go back from court and sign. So practically they walked out of that agreement, and as was reported in the press, I think yesterday, they walked out also on the meeting with the Honorable Minister.
If the MOU was signed on the 21st day of August, the 1 week timeline lapsed on the 28th day of August. New timeline ought to be set, but they were not prepared to enter into negotiations on the new timelines. Rather, they chose to unilaterally determine new timelines which they want to impose on our client. And we pointed out that does not conform with the modern trend of industrial relations. Modern trend of industrial relations and the law of this country support collective bargaining.
At this point, the matter will now move from a vacation court to regular one for the next phase of the legal dispute. Godfrey Eshamoge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
We stay with judicial matters for a while, but now in the southwest we'll move on to stories that concern national interest. Justice Ladiro Akintola of the Oyo State High Court has granted all relief sought by the Yoruba activist Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Igbo. Adeyemo had placed before the court 16 reliefs which bordered on the infringement of his fundamental human rights by officers of the State Security Service, while he equally asked for 500 billion naira costs. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
Security was again beefed up within and around the premises of the Oyo State High Court in Ibadan on Friday, as the court finally laid to rest the legal battle instituted by the embattled Yoruba activist Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Igbo. Vehicular movement into the court was restricted, while people allowed into the court were thoroughly searched by security agencies. Delivering his judgment on the matter, the presiding judge, Justice Akintola, described the invasion of Soka resident of Igbo as violation of his fundamental human rights, right to life, right to liberty, among others. He also condemned the embargo placed on his account, adding that the damage suffered by the applicant could be linked to the excessive use of state power against the harmless Nigerian. Not only this, the presiding judge equally described the action of the officers of the State Security Service as infringement on the rights of other people living in the area where the infraction was carried out. He therefore awarded a sum of 20 billion naira against the federal government and in favor of Igbo. Also, additional 2 million naira was awarded as against the 10 million naira applied for by the council to the applicants. When approached, counsel to Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, Abubakar Abdullahi, declined to comment on the judgment. Counsel to the applicant, Sunday Adeyemo, Yomi Aliu, described it as victory for democracy.
Reporting the matter appropriately at every opportunity we have in coming to court. The day is victory for democracy and the rule of law. We now see that we have to go back to the motto of MBA, we buy juice, we buy remedium. And that is exactly what happened today, which means where there's a damage, there's a remedy. You can see the language used by my learned, by my Lord, Justice Ladiro Akintola. you are in court. You heard what he said, and you heard what I said in court, that today's case is history, and our lawyers yet unborn will refer to it as we are referring to previous cases on constitutional law. It's triumph for democracy, triumph for rule of law.
He declared that his client has already directed his followers to sheath their sword and give peace a chance for unity and progress in Nigeria.
I am not a seer. It's 20 billion naira aggravated damages. With 20 billion naira aggravated damages, I think it is not right for anybody to say you want to test it. You don't test cases with human blood. This involves lives of Nigerian citizens. I don't think anybody should test that. What we now need is peace. I think you have gone through what Igboho released yesterday through me, when he said he has not empowered anybody to say anything on his behalf other than his leader of his legal team.
No Mercy has since returned to the premises of the State High Court from Ibadan. Kunle Ujo, Galaxy TV.
We stay with that particular story as we get reactions from the Apex Yoruba Self-Determination Group, Ilana Omoodua, that describes the verdict of the Oyo State High Court as triumph of light and truth over gladiators of illegalities. The group, under the leadership of a renowned historian, Professor Banji Akintoye, in a statement issued on Friday, commended the judiciary for reaffirming that self-determination is one of the fundamental human rights of citizens that cannot be subjugated. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the group posted that this verdict symbolizes triumph of light and truth over darkness, adding that Igbo represents the light and truth, while the Nigerian state stands for illegalities. Ilana Omoodua urged the Nigerian government to be honorable by respecting the verdict of a court of competent jurisdiction. It noted that the 20 billion naira damages ordered by a court to be paid to Igbo by the DSS should be paid with immediate effect in the interest of peace. You're still on to Galaxy Television News. We go for a break now, but when we return in the second part of the break, the National Judicial Council, NJC, sets up a probe panel to investigate 3 High Court judges who allegedly issued conflicting ex parte orders. We'll bring you details of that story shortly. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still on to Galaxy Television News. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly. You can always accommodate your live update and comment. Now, the National Judicial Council, NJC, has set up a high powered probe panel to investigate 3 High Court judges who allegedly issued conflicting ex parte orders on the same subject matter. They are to face the panel in order to show cause why disciplinary actions should not be taken against them for such act. A statement issued Friday by NJC Director of Information, Soji Oye, confirmed that the probe panel was constituted by the Council at its 95th meeting held on the 15th and 16th September 2021, adding that it was done in line with the principles of fair hearing. The Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of NJC, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, presided over the meeting. Names of the three judges and areas of jurisdiction were, however, not disclosed in the statement. The NJC dismissed a number of petitions against judges in the different divisions, including Abuja, Lagos, Ondo, among others, the statement added. And now, the NSAS panel on Friday held a cross-examination with Nigerian police at the Arbitration Court, Lekki. Galaxy's Irabami Salako was at the scene and has details in this report.
Following the NSAS protest by Nigerian youths that occurred October 2020, which accused branches of Nigerian law enforcement agencies with lots of misconduct towards the citizens, the cross-examination with the Nigerian police asked the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, represented by Police Officer Odubono, where he was drilled with questions from sets of NSAS Protest Council.
So you are not aware at all that people were arrested and handed over to the police? You are not aware?
I'm not aware of such reports. I will say so.
Open your computer and bring all manners of garbage before this.
My Lord, I take exception to that line of that choice of language from the election. Only live by garbage. You must apologize to that choice of language. Out of 100 videos, you are pointing one and you are telling saying that garbage.
The garbage I'm referring to is this video.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That is garbage, Mr.
Out of 100 videos, you are saying garbage. My Lord, I take exception from that choice of language.
After a series of questions and evidence presented by both Lagos State Council and NSAS Protest Council, the case was adjourned to 24th September for ruling. Irabami Salako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
And now, tracking security stories, the Kaduna State Police Command has paraded the killers of Senator Bala IBN Allah's son, Captain Abdul Karim IBN Allah. Speaking to journalists on behalf of the State Commissioner of Police, Mudashir Abubakar, the Police Public Relations Officer PPRO, Mohammed Jalige said the 3 alleged killers of Abdul Karim have been arrested. The Police Public Relations Officer also said one Usman Mohammed was also arrested for his involvement in the abduction of the students of Greenfield University College of Agriculture Mechanization, Afaka, and the Bethel Baptist High School, all in Kaduna State.
A notorious kidnapper terrorizing Chukun, Igabi, and Giwa local government areas of Kaduna State. He confessed to have kidnapped many people and collected several ransoms. He also has links with recent attacks on Greenfield University, Bethel Baptist Academy, and School of Forestry and Mechanization, Mandu, Afaka.
He further added that other suspects, numbering about 25, including the wife of a notorious suspect, were also apprehended.
On the 10th of September 2021, at about 22:00 hours, the Divisional Police Officer of Gontu Division was received of the reliable information that one Yakubu Shuaibu M of Mesamari Village, Sanga local government, Kaduna State, is in possession of a locally made AK-47 rifle with 10 rounds of 7.62 mm live ammunition.
And now to party politics. The People's Democratic Party has inaugurated its 2021 forthcoming Convention National Planning Committee, chaired by Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri. The committee deputy chairman is the Governor of Bayelsa State, Duyo Diri, and the Secretary, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, and other 275 members. Speaking during the inauguration, Acting Chairman Yemi Akinwumi urged the committee to strive for success.
I called the chairman, the deputy, the secretary, and all members of the committee to close rank and make sure that their watchword remains success at the end of the event.
Chairman of the party's Board of Trustees, Wali Jubril, said the party has confidence in the abilities of the committee to make their forthcoming convention a successful one.
Deputy Mark, that committee has gone very far and they are about to conclude. I assure you, with the processes going on now, I'm sure our party is coming to very normal.
It is significant because it marks the beginning of a strategic repositioning in our determined march with Nigerians to rescue and take back our dream nation from the stranglehold and misrule of the APC-led government.
Speaking after the inauguration, Chairman of the committee, Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa State, promised to deliver on his mandate, adding that the convention would be free and fair.
So I think we are going to work hand in hand and urge them to quickly finish their job so that those who are interested in any position will also quickly start running around the country to contest, to canvass for votes. And also considering the caliber of men and women that are made up of the convention committee, I have no doubt in my mind that this convention will come out to be one of the best. But
and now we shift our focus away from that to electoral processes, as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it does not need the approval of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, to transmit election results electronically. Galaxy's Solomon Ofem takes a look at the possibilities and implications of this stance, if any. Now, the report.
Recall that during the debate on Section 52, Subsection 3 of the Electoral Amendment Act Bill, which deals with electronic transmission by lawmakers, they had asked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to seek the approval of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, before going on with e-transmission of results.
We were able to get the coordinates of about 109,000, and we plotted this across the map of the country, and we superimposed on it the network coverage we had, service-wise. We plotted 2G coverage, 3G coverage, and LTE coverage, and we were able to see that about half of the polling units were covered with 2G/3G services. That is both 2G and 3G services. Roughly about 50.3% of those. Then about 49.7% did not have any coverage at all.
The electoral umpire has now come out to say it does not need the approval of the NCC to transmit election results electronically. It argued that the decision of the National Assembly to subject its constitutional power to conduct elections to the NCC was absolutely unconstitutional. Speaking at the Commission's third quarterly meeting with media executives in Abuja, National Commissioner and Chairman, Electoral Operations and Logistics Committee, Professor Okechukwu Ibianu, said rather than seeking NCC's approval, the electoral body has a constitutional mandate to impose duties on NCC to achieve the electronic transmission of results. Legal practitioner Destiny Takan agrees with INEC on this.
E-transmission of results, definitely. It's what Nigerians of goodwill have been clamoring for, especially from the background of the mischief of election rigging in Nigeria, where you have declaration of elections at the polling booths, and at the point of collation and announcement, different figures are arrived at. Yes, and we've had the smart card readers. The smart card readers were also technology, and they did not depend on 3G, they did not depend on 4G, and they worked. What I'm saying is that it simply means that indeed technology would exist. That is very possible, and I think that it does not require the input of the NCC.
Mazi Sam Owabunwa and Femi Emmanuel shed some light on the importance of electronic transmission of election results, while urging INEC to work closely with relevant agencies, including NCC, in order to avoid conflicts and saboteurs before, during and after the elections.
Don't mean well for the country. They don't want a transparent election. They don't want a free and fair election. Look at a sign of free and fair election. El-Rufai lost in his polling booth. Is it what? Yeah, he lost. So can you believe that? Would it ever have happened if we don't try electronic? Yet his party won over a majority. Yeah. So that's fine. It shows the will and wish of people. Nobody can. I mean, that's what we need to do. If you are certain that you are representing the people well, and that you have the right solution to their issues, present it, debate it, convince them, and then if they give you a chance to try, you try. If you fail, you go home. I mean, when God will ask you, say, I tried to solve this problem. I was not just criticizing and complaining. I was ready to give all that you take to happen.
I'm of the opinion that INEC needs to calm down and listen to all stakeholders, not just NCC alone. While some of us love the idea of the electronic transmission, in fact, we know that once that is accepted, then we can start talking about electronic voting. It has to be a step at a time. And for this to work, INEC needs to calm down and cooperate with other stakeholders. Now, looking at other stakeholders, even not just the telecommunications channels and the electoral commissioners, because the truth is that once there is a transmission electronically, there will be no need to steal ballot boxes. There will be no need to cut away with ballot boxes. There will be less violence in Nigeria.
On the implications of INEC planning to transmit election results electronically without the approval of NCC, Barrister Destiny Takan does not see any implication.
To transmit results directly to a central polling pool, for the whole world, for Nigerians and the whole world to see, is consistent and encapsulated in the constitutional powers of INEC, and there are no consequences. If NCC or the National Assembly, anybody wants to try, the courts are open, let them go. And I'm sure the lawyers will prove that.
Nigeria is in need of an electoral system that can truly be democratic. But for that to happen, Nigerians must take up the collective responsibility of collaboration with INEC on electronic transmission of results for a successful, free and fair election. For Galaxy Television News, Solomon Ofem reporting.
Now, the civil society organizations of Nigeria charged Nigerians and all levels of government to use the media to strengthen and fight against all forms of human trafficking. This was made known during a roundtable meeting for media and civil society organizations on human trafficking and forced migration in Lagos State. The guest speaker, Director General of National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking Persons, NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, who was represented by the Public Relations Officer Hajara Tunde Osho, restated the role of the media in mobilizing public support and involvement to help prevent and combat traffic owing to the reach and inability to mold public opinion.
It would be folly not to recognize the immense importance of the media if we are to effectively tackle human trafficking and irregular migration in Nigeria. Oftentimes, many identify prevailing socio-economic situations as key push or pull factors that lead to the continuous proliferation of human trafficking and irregular migration. However, a closer look paints a picture of ignorance. Lack of key information that would ordinarily have protected a migrant from being vulnerable to any form of exploitation.
Other participants present at the meeting pointed out the role of government, community leaders, parents, and the media in the fight against trafficking, calling on parents to be vigilant and pay attention to the children.
When the media raises conversations around trafficking, around abuse, around exploitation, we're able to move the conversation from point A to point B, where it now gets to policy. So the goal of this entire interaction today is we want CSOs to understand that the media people, journalists, are their friends. They are not, we're not rivals. We're not. This is a situation where you can't do your advocacy work in silence. You need the cooperation. You need the information. You need to push this conversation to the front burner so that policymakers can begin to pay attention and make laws that protect our young girls and women.
We also encourage parents, please, make sure you have a good relationship with your child so that when people are telling them things, you will be the best person they will come and share it with. Because most of these children, you find that they have a disconnected family where they can't basically tell their parents the information their friends or other people are giving them outside. So I think we have to go back to parenting, because if our home front has a good foundation, there is no way your child will do anything without telling you. And because you are a parent, the tendency that you will find out that that information is not the truth is high, because experience actually plays in here.
Still tracking human angle stories, civil society organization CSOs committed to environmental justice in Nigeria have declared that the Petroleum Industry Act recently assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari neglects concerns of communities and strengthens oil companies operating in the polluted Niger Delta region. Correspondent Delifaso sent in this report.
At a briefing in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, executive directors of some CSOs in the region expressed concern over lamentation by host communities regarding push for oil exploration in Ogoni land by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC). In his speech, the executive director of People's Advancement Center, Celestine Akpobari, said resumption of oil exploration in Ogoni land by the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company (NPDC) will be insensitive without proper cleanup and compensation for Ogoni people by Shell. Also, the Director of Environmental Right Action (EAR), Chima Williams, explained that the reasons behind Shell's decision to divest in the decaying facilities of the company, which has led to constant spillages and realization that it is no longer business as usual, as victims now use legal means to fight them. Similarly, Ken Henshaw faulted placing of responsibility for the protection of pipeline and other oil infrastructure on host communities under the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA. On his part, the Executive Director of Health of Mother Earth Foundation, Nimo Bassi, speaks on the eco-effect of the offshore divesting plan by oil multinationals.
There were legitimate demands in the Ogoni Bill of Rights. Rights that other Nigerians are already enjoying in abundance without a struggle. Look at what oil money has done in Abuja within a short period of time. Abuja does not have one oil well. Let the government apologize to Ogoni people, exonerate those who were murdered innocently, commence decommissioning as recommended by UNEP, declare a state of emergency in Ogoni land.
Why will Shell be divesting onshore and then making more investments deep offshore where nobody watches what they are doing? So This exposes the lies of Shell in this divestment, race. Rather than seize the opportunity to transform the footprints of oil extraction in host communities, to invest in clean energy, to win the Nigerian nation from fossil fuel dependence and combat years of pollution and neglect, the Petroleum Industry Act rather chooses to reinforce those historical neglects while reinforcing the same destructive policies.
They just want to have more profits without accountability and responsibility. And so they want to move offshore, where communities will not see them. The fishermen who get to those areas would be harassed by security forces. Some may never return.
The groups warned local investors interested in the assets and liabilities of the divesting Shell to exercise caution, as no host community will allow resumption of oil exploration without adequate cleanup and compensation.
How come that since 2015 when they took over power, they have not declared profit in NPC? NPC have always been under him. How come that now that they don't put the signature there that we are going to share 30%, suddenly profit has come up? So there is something that is a rat, yes. And I think the Niger Delta people need to come together and give them the good treatment.
We want to call on the Nigerian government, Nigerian citizens, global citizens, to warn both those that want to buy and Shell that want to sell. Your assets are your assets. Put back our environment the way it was. Restitute for the losses that our citizens have suffered.
You cannot mop a floor while you keep the tap running. At a time when the world is clearly moving away from fossil fuel dependency, it doesn't just make sense at all for the Nigerian state, under any guise, to invest scarce resources in that sector.
And now in the southwest, motorists and travelers flying the Akure-Ogbese to Owo highway are lamenting over the deplorable condition of the road. However, the state government has intervened by moving in to fix the failed portions of the federal road. Correspondent Shegun Falomo tells us more on this report.
Bad condition of the road has made traveling unpleasant for travelers and motorists. Deep potholes have taken over the road due to blockage of drainages over several years of neglect. Some of the motorists appeal to the federal government to urgently fix the road.
Please, government, help us and do this for us. We are suffering since 2 days. We there for us. We don't leave Lagos 2 days. Now since up to now we there here. Please, government, help us and do this thing for us. This is our business. We don't have any business to do. This is our business.
The road is getting so bad, so to the point vehicles can no longer pass the road. They are passing the inside the street every and up and down. Because of we have been since last year, mostly this year, things are no vehicle, nobody can move on the road again.
Yes, it's very bad towards God's self. So we can't know the thing that we are going to do, but this is our governor now. He will help us to do the road.
Ondo State Ministry of Works have moved to the scene to repair the bad portions of the road. Drainages are being cleared to give room for free passage of erosion. The State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Rahim Aminu, said government has decided to address the hardship being experienced on the road by residents and motorists.
Yeah, it will be motorable. But now after this palliative measure, it is served for a while. But we are trying to contact FEMA and the Federal Ministry of Works so that they can have a long-stay solution. Because we have our own problem in the state that we are facing. But we cannot leave it like this because all our people are suffering. That's why we're here.
It's hoped that the federal government will find a lasting solution to the problems being faced by people plying these routes. From Ogbese, Shegun Falomo reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Let's stay in Ondo State for a moment, as about 150 persons have been trained by the Ondo State government in modern ways of cattle rearing and to discourage open grazing. The training was carried out in partnership with Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. Shegun Falomo was at the training and now reports.
This is the closing ceremony of a 5-day training organized for livestock farmers on best method to discourage open grazing. While declaring the event closed, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu said ranching remains the best way of rearing cattle. Represented by the State Head of Service, John Adeyemo, the governor said the training is designed to ensure people embrace modern system of rearing animals. He explained that feedlot operational system is a variant of ranching where livestock are confined for better management and profitability.
It will be very beneficial even to the herders themselves. Moving from one place to another, they are losing a lot of resources. But if they stay in a single place, the animal will be more heavier, will be more okay. They themselves, they will have time for themselves, and their children too will go to school. So that's the reason why Mr. Governor authorized this workshop.
Some of the participants also spoke with journalists at the end of the training.
After this training, we've done the first phase, which was largely theoretical. This is second phase, spanning another 5 days, practical. If you come to our office now, you will see the hydroponic method.
You know, this is a modern cattle rearing, which is good for our cattle. The way we are taking care of our cattle now, we take them to the bush. You know, we don't used to give them injection, and we know any type of grass they will chop. And we don't know whether the grass they are eating is good for their body.
Thank Mr. Governor Akeredolu. Though I'm in the system before, I have many goats, sheep, many things. But all what I have, all what I've taught here, I'm really appreciative.
The training was organized for corporate bodies, religious organizations, and individuals with interest in cattle, sheep, and goat value chain business. From Akure, Segun Falomo reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Still in the southwest, as part of efforts aimed at curtailing the spread of cholera in the state, the Ogun State government has decontaminated affected areas with an assurance that bacterial disease causing severe diarrhea and dehydration will be curtailed. Special advisor to the government on environment, Ola Oresoya, noted that the state government took the decision to decontaminate Ago, Afoju, Sabo in Abeokuta and Magboro in Obafemi Owode local government area to eliminate the potency of fomites and pathogens shared by infected individuals in their immediate households and communities from infecting others, while advising residents of the affected areas, especially those at Ago, Afoju in Sabo, Abeokuta, to improve on their sanitation. Oresoya said they should avoid open defecation and dirty environments that can aid the spread of cholera.
This is the place where we have the second case of cholera in Abeokuta in Ogun State. We have the first one around Magboro. And the cholera has been traced to area where we have people from the northern part of the country. And they brought in this into the community, into our areas here. And what the state government has been doing, especially the Ministry of Health, is to make sure that we curtail this so that we don't have further spread of the outbreak.
And our tracking security stories, two police sergeants, Felix Ebika Boy and Ndubisi Abazie, have been dismissed by the Delta State Police Command over human rights abuses and assault. The dismissal, according to the State Police Commissioner, Mohammed Ali, is as a result of seriously assaulting one Broderick Mesan, a commercial tricycle operator in Warri, which led to serious injuries. The Commissioner of Police in the statement said the SAID unbiased information shows that the dismissed officers after the close of work engaged in illegal duties of extortion, which led to inflicting injuries on the tricyclist. He assured members of the public on the readiness of the command to deal decisively with the erring officers, while also warning officers and men of the command to desist from assaulting innocent motorists while carrying out their duties. The Delta State Police Command, meanwhile, has confirmed the killing of a youth in Uheli Kingdom of Delta State during their annual festival. The Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Ali, made this known in a signed statement made available to our correspondent, saying one youth was killed while several others were injured in a communal clash involving the neighboring communities of Okui-Igbo and Otoiwerko in Uheli South local government area of the state. The Delta CP said the incident, which happened last night, heightened tension in the community before the tactical unit of the State Police Command restored normalcy to the communities. He warned members of the communities to give peace a chance in order not to allow cultists hijack festivals from them. Meanwhile, the Delta State Police Command says it has killed a suspected notorious armed robber who has been on a wanted list of the Nigerian State Police Command. The suspect, identified as Andrew, according to a statement made available to Galaxy News by the State Police spokesman Edafe Bright, is the leader of a three-man armed robbery gang codenamed Imomotimi Gang, which has been terrorizing Warri and environs lately. The late Andrew and his gang, according to the police, were operating in a black Toyota car, which they used in robbing a victim before the DPO of a division in Warri and his men engaged them in a shootout which led to the death of the suspect, while two of his gang members escaped with gunshot wounds. Items recovered from them include their operational Toyota car, a locally made pistol with live cartridges, one Nokia phone, and a sum of 130,000 naira. The State Police Commissioner Muhammad Ali, according to the spokesperson, had ordered manhunt to arrest the fleeing suspects. You're still into Galaxy Television News. Now time for us to take you outside Nigeria for international news. Stay with us, please.
Welcome to news from the international scene. The United States has announced a new sanction regime related to the continuing conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region, threatening to punish those who prolong the fighting and the resulting humanitarian crisis. An executive order signed by President Joe Biden on Friday allows the U.S. Treasury and State Department to sanction leaders and groups if they do not soon take steps to end the violence. The White House noted that all named groups have been accused of rights abuse in the fighting, which erupted between Ethiopia's federal troops and forces loyal to the TPLF, Tigray's ruling party, more than 10 months ago. The sprawling multi-party conflict has killed thousands of people and at least 5 million people in need of humanitarian aid. U.S. officials on Thursday said that up to 900,000 people were currently living in famine conditions in Tigray alone, with aid convoys regularly blocked by Ethiopian troops from entering the region. In his statement on Friday, Biden said he agreed with the United Nations and African Union that there is no military solution to this crisis. The latest measure comes after the U.S. imposed sanction on General Philippos Wodi Yohannes, the Chief of Staff of the Eritrean Defense Forces, in August. The Eritrean government, a longtime foe of the TPLF, which dominated Ethiopia's politics until Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018, has been instrumentally in aiding the Ethiopian government in the conflict. Moving on to Asia, India administered more than 20 million COVID vaccine doses in a day on Friday in a record-breaking effort to mark Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 71st birthday. The effort surpassed the country's previous daily record of more than 13 million doses on 27th August. India aimed to vaccinate all eligible Indians by the end of 2021, but experts say the drive needs to pick up a consistent pace to meet the target. It has so far given more than 787 million doses of 3 approved jabs, more than half of India's eligible population. Some 588 million people have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, according to official data. But only about 20% of eligible adults have been fully vaccinated since the beginning of the drive in January. India has reported more than 33 million COVID cases, second only to the United States. The country is also only the third in the world to record more than 440,000 deaths, behind the US and Brazil. About 588 million people have received the first dose, and another 195 million or so have received both doses so far. India gives 6 million jabs on an average every day in August, compared to 4.3 million daily jabs in July, according to official data. But September is seeing a rise with more than 7.4 million doses administered daily. Experts say record-breaking days are encouraging, but vaccination rates need to rise consistently. They estimate that India needs to give more than 10 million doses a day to fully vaccinate all eligible adults by the end of 2021. Much will depend on levels of vaccine hesitancy and the availability of doses in the coming months. India's daily case count has been dropping. It has been reporting less than 40,000 new daily cases in the past month, and most of them the southern state of Kerala. But doctors say the third wave is likely given that the country has fully reopened, even as threats to new variants looms large. Lastly, on the international scene, the US and UK are facing growing international criticism over a new security pact signed with Australia. The deal, seen as an effort to counter China, will see the US and UK give Australia the technology to build nuclear-powered submarines. But the move angered France, which said it has been stabbed in the back. While China accused the three powers of having a Cold War mentality, and the pact has raised fear, but it could provoke China into a war. The alliance, known as AUKUS, was announced by US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison, on why they did not mention China. AUKUS is being widely viewed as an effort to counter Beijing's influence in the contested South China Sea. Mr. Johnson later told that the agreement was not intended to be adversarial to China, but the Prime Minister was questioned by his predecessor, Theresa May, about whether the deal could lead to Britain being dragged into war with China. She asked the Prime Minister about the implications of the partnership in the event of a Chinese invasion. Mr. Johnson replied, "The United Kingdom remains determined to defend international laws, and that is the strong advice they would give to friends across the world, and the strong advice that they would give to the government in Beijing. Democratic Taiwan sees itself as a sovereign state, but Beijing has increased pressure on the island with its view as a breakaway province." And that's it from news from the international scene.
Up next is entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. Linda Ikeji's son, Jay-Z, turns 3 today, and new photos have been released to mark his birthday. Hailing him, his mom wrote, "Kind, friendly, helpful, and filled with love for others. Amazing Jay-Z, my whole entire life, so blessed to be doing this life with you. I've got you for the rest of my life. Happy birthday, Jay-Z." Meanwhile, American broadcaster Wendy Williams has been hospitalized for psychiatric evaluations barely 24 hours after it was announced that the new session of her show will be delayed after she suffered from a breakthrough COVID-19 case. Wendy was voluntarily admitted to a New York City hospital for psych evaluation. Sources told TMZ that she had struggled with mental health issues for some time, and her recent admission is not a big shock. She is said to have COVID, but asymptomatic, and doctors are expected to continue to monitor her physical health as well. When Wendy will be discharged from hospital is still unclear, but it was learned that her mental health has continued to improve and her COVID is still in check with no real symptoms. The show hosts 13 seasons was set to premiere September 20, but the date has been pushed to October 4, and last week producers revealed that she was dealing with an ongoing health issues and would not be able to make it to the promotion activities as she was being evaluated. And finally, on entertainment news, actress Ejene Okorafor has claimed that she was almost arrested in Peru for using fake euros notes which she allegedly got from a Nigerian bank. According to the actress, she got to know the notes were fake after trying to purchase some items in a mall on Thursday, September 16. She added that when she took the money to a bank, the cash machine seized £200,000 that was rightfully placed and rejected the last squeezed £500, with a receipt that the money is fake. Ejini also claimed that she almost got into trouble when she took the money to a MoneyGram with a friend to confirm its authenticity and eventually had to go to the police station for a report. She also claimed that when the bank manager of the Nigerian bank was called, he said they had been told to stop issuing that cash, although she was not informed. The actress described the situation as a big shame and urged others to be careful of big denominations when they travel. That'll be all on entertainment news.
And now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate a live update and comments. On behalf of the entire production team, we say many thanks for watching the news on Galaxy Television. Let's do this again some other time. My name is Tife Tanimomo. See you